Hey, what is happening, Cowboys Nation? And welcome to week 3. We definitely had some highs after that game. And then yesterday happened. And we all sank.
Yeah, some highs, that low, that very bad low that we'll get into as we go further in the show and we start to break down this week and the Cardinals and everything. But not good news coming out of the Star yesterday. But we are 2-0.
We are.
We are 2-0.
And what we saw against what was supposed to be a premier defense was amazing. I mean, very good. Because, nobody's questioning our defense at this point in time. But people were like, oh, what's the offense really done? And da-da-da-da-da-da. They played the rain, everything like that. There's no question. That was a top defense that everybody called. And, we hung 30 on them. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a defense. Yeah, that was a defense that people.
Our left guard, and even that left guard went down, and we had a backup guard there.
Yeah, at one point we were down to 4th string guard.
Right.
So, look, that was a defense that people said was going to give us trouble. That was a defense that people said was going to kill Dak. Dak was going to throw interceptions. They were going to smash our offense. I even heard somebody say, yeah, you guys might win, but it'll be 7-3. So our offense didn't look like the perfect offense. Of course, this is a great defense they played, but they were super efficient. Dak, super efficient. I would say that we were not greatly efficient in running the ball. We actually were not we were bad at running the ball. We had a negative EPA overall. But it was enough to help the offensive passing game, and then Dak and CeeDee Lamb were amazing. Dak and CeeDee Lamb were perfect. They couldn't be stopped all game.
Right. My hat actually goes off. And Mass, you were right here on this bus with me. We have been Mike McCarthy. I don't want to say doubters, but questioners. We have not had the biggest confidence in him. And I'm going to say this, that I think that him taking over the play calling has gotten him more hands-on and involved in the situation and with this team than I think where he was before. I have to say that knowing that Sauce Gardner does not travel and putting Gallup in with him so CD could be the weapon everywhere else was really smart planning.
Absolutely. And I agree with you. It is allowed. I won't even say allowed. It is forced Mike McCarthy to be more involved and to make more decisions. Mm-hmm. That's the criticism we both had him of him last year. He was just kind of like, okay, Bones Fossil, you got the special teams, you make the decisions. Dan Quinn, you got the defense, you make the decisions. Kellen Moore, you got the offense, you make the decisions. I'll just manage. And that's how he kind of been since he's taken over. Now he's running the offense. He's making these decisions, and he's being forced to be more involved. And we're seeing the benefits of his mind because he is a great football mind. Like, he was one of the coaches that I want when they were looking for hiring. Like, it was Lincoln Riley, Mike McCarthy. That was my list, So, we're finally getting to see that guy that I thought we were getting when we originally got him. And, it's starting to show. And he's working. Look at quarterback school. He is helping Dak with that rhythm and that pace, getting in step with his receivers. And they're all the offense is benefiting from it. Absolutely.
Yeah. That part.
And I have to clear something up because I got absolutely killed on Twitter, and it's mostly by people who didn't understand my tweet and didn't understand what I was saying. And I just want to clear it up because Twitter only has so many characters, So let me just say, I criticize Mike McCarthy, and I will continue to criticize Mike McCarthy before the game started for choosing to take the kickoff. I will criticize any coach. This is not a Mike McCarthy thing. This is any coach for choosing to take the kickoff. I understand the argument that people have. Oh, it was the Jets. He wanted to get up on a lead. I get it. They were like, trust your defense. I get it. I trust my defense. That's what I would have kicked off to them and deferred, because I trust my defense to get a 3 and out, and the offense gets the ball real quick, and we get the ball the second half. There's a reason why like 70% of coin flips are deferred. It's because you have that chance to double dip at halftime. You can get a score as the time's expiring, and you get the ball back. No other time in the game, except if you go into overtime, can you score and then get the ball immediately back without having to play defense at all. Right. You know, so that's why. And in that game, the defense made a stop, and it was great. But the Jets had the opportunity. The Jets marched down the field, kicked the field goal, and immediately got the ball back. Yes, the defense made a great stand. That's not the point. Like, just because it didn't work out, it's not the point. They were given that opportunity. And that's my issue with that. Outside of that, Mike McCarthy had a great game plan, called a great game most of the time. There was some questionable red zone stuff, but there was some other stuff that worked in the red zone that just wasn't executed properly. Overall, great game. Hats off to Mike McCarthy, but I don't like that aspect. I never will.
No, I agree. It rolled the dice rolled the right way for us this time. We have seen it not.
Yeah.
Remember those times that it's not always worked out. It did this time. You brought up the red zone. Can we talk about this red zone? Because the last half of this game, the red zone game was not good. And here is going to be one of my criticisms of McCarthy. We ran it 3 times. And I understand that, we ran it 3 times in a row. It's essentially one of the best run stop defenses in the league. And it wasn't working.
Yeah.
I say this time and time again, quit hitting your head against the wall time and time again and saying ouch each time, not figuring it out, change that part up. But I do think that we have to be stronger in the red zone. I know that we converted to field goals. Awesome. We now know Aubrey can kick those field goals, and he's solid, and we're good. He's gotten that under his belt. I need some touchdowns in the second half of that game. And I know people were like, oh, you can't criticize this game, anything like that. Yeah, we can talk about this red zone and the percentage of the 3 to 6 points being.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I get it. And you can say that they were being conservative, whatever. I'm never going to be a fan of run, pass. That's just not a play sequence that is very efficient. The stats prove that it's not efficient. So when you go into the red zone, you do run, pass every time. It's very easy for the defense to pick it up. You become predictable. And it's hard to score like that. Yes, I get it. There were some plays that were good plays that just weren't executed properly. The Hendershot, you can question that play call. You can question Hendershot being the one to getting the ball, but there was a hole. He missed the cutback. That was on him. Right. He missed the cutback. The overthrow to Ferguson in the corner, Dak missed that throw. Also on that same play on the other side, CeeDee Lamb was literally camped out just
nobody in the same zip code.
Yeah, and Dak missed him. I get it. Yeah. So yes, there was some just missed opportunities from the players. The players got to execute better. But the play calls, the sequence, and I even heard some people saying this, and it's always taking shots at Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore this, Kellen Moore that. We still love to take shots at Kellen Moore. Look, they said, I'd rather be conservative and kick the field goal with our defense than risk the turnover and score points. Look, you could say whatever you want against Kellen Moore. Last year, they were the number 1 red zone offense. So it wasn't about, hey, we're being conservative so we don't have turnovers. No, we weren't doing that last year. We weren't being concerned. We weren't like turning the ball over in the red zone. We were the number 1 red zone team in the league. We scored touchdowns. So that argument really doesn't work. You can be a little bit more aggressive. I get it. We have a great defense. You still want to score touchdowns over field goals. That's the only point. It's week 2. I mean, it was week 2. Not a huge deal. It's learning and getting better. No one's saying, this is going to be it for the rest of the year. No one's saying, they suck. They can't do this. Get better. always strive to get better. And that's what we're saying. You can find even though we had a great game, there's always little things you can pick out to get better at. And that's one of them.
Yeah. Because we're not going to be able to do that in week 5 with the Niners.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not
You've got to score touchdowns against the Niners in week 5. 100%. You cannot just rely on 5 field goals to think you're going to win that game.
Right. Right. So defense, the defense, it's not one thing for me to pick apart, say was wrong. Beautiful once again.
It was great. The only things that you can even negatively say against the defense, but it wasn't terrible. If you want to get negative, you want to be negative, you can say, "Oh, Malik Hooker missed that tackle on the 60-something yard touchdown by Wilson." I get it. He took a bad angle. Get it. He made up for it, in my opinion, later with the pick. Playing prevent defense at the end of the half so they can go down the field and kick a field goal. I get those are like the only 2 drives that you can even say anything about.
Except for, once again, we had a quarterback that could kind of scramble get some yards against us. And it seems as if with the way the assignments were, all of a sudden the middle of the field opened up for him several times. So I guess I don't know if that's because we have players hunting all the time and not, protecting there in the middle. So looking forward, that is going to be something that we're going to have to really probably figure out, when we do face Jalen Hurts.
We'll see it this year again. We'll see it this week again because Joshua Dobbs does run. He ran for 41 yards last game against the Giants and a touchdown. So Dobbs will take off on you. So, hey, we got to maintain that discipline. But I saw an interesting stat from Bobby Belt, and it blew me away. And I'm wondering how long this is going to last. So the Cowboys haven't allowed a single snap in the second half inside their own 40-yard line.
I saw that.
So team has, in the second half of the game, not a single team, it has had a snap past the 40-yard line. Like, they just can't get past the 40-yard line into even close to field goal range,
right?
Touchdown, red zone, nothing. They can't get close to it. It is dating back to 1994 is when the stat was being tracked. Only team to ever do it through the first 2 weeks. Only team to ever do it through the first 2 weeks.
It's absolutely wild. Absolutely wild.
That's telling you how great this defense is playing.
Right. Well, and here's another thing that's going to show us exactly how great this defense is. What? What? Their defense was tired.
Their defense was exhausted at the end of that game.
I would love to see their snap count.
Right? That was credit to the defense and the offense as well. The offense, like I said, we didn't run the ball great. We didn't run it efficiently. But a lot of quick passes, a lot of converting on third down. Dak was masterful on third down again. And, converting those, keeping the offense off the field, keeping their offense off, their defense on the field. So credit to both teams because that is an incredible stat. And we got another one here that just shows how dominant this team has been and throughout 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And as the point differential through 2 weeks, the second highest of all time beyond the 2019 Patriots. I actually was surprised. I thought it would be the 2007 Patriots since they're the ones that went undefeated throughout the regular season. But 2019 Patriots, that's pretty impressive right there.
Absolutely. So good week. It was a good week. It was a good week. We need to quit listening to you guys haven't played anybody yet. I'm not even playing that game. I made someone it was on a stat and someone, you guys haven't played anyone yet. I was like, okay, hold on. We faced 2 of the best defensive lines that were supposed to be in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And we have only given up 10 points total in that. And the fact that we hung 70 on those two teams in that time period.
Yeah.
We're not going to listen. You haven't played anybody yet. They are all NFL teams. Yeah. And we have been dominant on both sides of the ball in the last two games. So I'm not going to listen to those people anymore.
Absolutely. And you'll hear it more this week.
I was about to say, this week's going to feed into it even more.
Get in the Arizona Cardinals, who are people saying going to fight for the number 1 seed. We'll see. We'll get into that game in a little bit. Just a couple things that we kind of want to go up to leading up to that game is, look, the Cowboys haven't been fully healthy. And we've missed quite a few big name players. Tyler Smith has not played a game this year. Donovan Wilson has not played a game this year. There's 2 starters. Brandon Cooks, number 2 wide receiver, missed last week. All 3 of them
back, but he was on a very limited snap count last week. We'll see him a lot more this week. We'll talk about that.
So all of those players are coming back. So that should only boost the defense with Wilson and boost the offense, especially the running game with Tyler Smith coming back. Brandon Cooks coming back for the wide receiver core. That can help. That gives another option for Dak. And it's not just CD out there by himself, like killing everybody. But let's get into that bad news, Cam. Let's get into that bad news of coming. Do you want to break it? I mean, it's already broken. Everybody already knows, but do you want
to? There's a couple of players that, I never want to hear I never want to hear anybody on this team getting injured. Mm-hmm. But there are names that immediately just shove the knife into your heart. And my little story. So, you know what? I'm going to jump to this real quick. My Speedway Children's Charity Clay Shoot that I am the chairman of, have been the chairman of for well more than a decade, happened yesterday. I have to give a huge shout out to Kyle Yeomans for being out there and being one of my celebs shooting at it. Terry and Bobby Labonte, NASCAR champion, Hall of Fame. They were out there supporting us, and the day was flawless. It was amazing. We raised a lot of money for the kids, and I absolutely appreciate and love every single buddy that helped us together. But I was standing up there on the hill where the shoot is happening, talking with Kyle, and his phone is blowing up, and he looked down, and he looked up at me, and I was like, "What?" He was like, "Diggs," and I was like, "What? What about Diggs? Well, what happened? Where's Trayvon?" He was like, "Yeah, he went down." And so, and we know, I want to say that is probably one of the quickest confirmations with an MRI being done and it being told that it was the tear of the ACL and he was out for the season. I mean, that was within half an hour, I think.
Yeah.
We got those news. It was no, okay, he's going to get an MRI done, going to find out. Boom, it was done. We know. So, like I said, a hard pill to swallow. Things that are comforting me. We are going to be moving Bland to that outside. And we are now moving our last year intercept leader to that position. And a gem that we found late in the draft that no one had thought was going to be able to do that, and that he'll be out there. Now we can hope that maybe they hit on with Scott, in the draft, and that he's going to be that support. And then we have, you're going to make me try and say is Iggy. I can't ever say it. Noah. We have Noah that's going to be there, that's going to help support. And then, and now we've got J-Lou back, and he's going to right back into his position in that, into that slot nickel situation that he'll be able to be covering. So in Dan Quinn, we trust. This team, they're going to make up for the one player. They're going to have that same force that they've been playing with. Yes, we are all going to miss him. Still completely believe in this defense, and the one player is not going to change what we're seeing on the field. So,
yeah, I think you hit it really, really well right there. It sucks. Like it's awful. It's awful news.
It
Whenever you
hurts.
have a guy of the caliber of Trayvon Diggs and they go down, it hurts. It's gonna hurt. And Trayvon, we can't say that Trayvon Diggs is the caliber player that he is and then say, oh, it's not that big of a loss when he's not there. So obviously, like, it's a big loss. Like, I get it. Having said that, will it make this defense terrible? No, it's not. Is this team's depth good enough to make it still a top defense? Yes, it is. And like you said, Bland moving out to the outside, that's a guy who, hey, since he's come into the league, he leads the team into interceptions, not Trayvon. He leads the league. He leads the team. And he
We
is a
still have
quality
Gilly.
guy.
We have Gilly on the
And
other
we have
side.
Gilly on the other side. Yes. So I admitted last year that I was wrong in my evaluation of Bland, and he has proven me wrong. And I hope he proves a lot of other people wrong, and he plays great. Like, I have a lot of faith in Bland right now. We know Jay Lou. We know he can play in the slot. He's getting better and better as his career's gone on. So he's came back at the perfect time. It turned out the Cowboys make a really, really good decision not starting him on pub to start the season.
Mm-hmm.
So, it works out. Yes. Yeah, it would have been bad. And then we still have some depth behind that. Like you said, Noah and Izzy. Izzy played really well at cornerback in the postseason last year. So we still have some depth there. Then Nashawn Wright might get called up now to the active roster. We'll have to see.
We got Eric Scott sitting there too.
And Eric Scott is there too.
Yeah.
So this team is deep, but yes, it still is a blow. And that kind of leads us into a new segment that we have. Cam, do you want to take away our new segment?
It's called Hey Pumpkin. And if anybody, you people follow me on Twitter, when someone decides to get a little sideways or be off or just not make good choices, they end up getting called pumpkin by me. Today's Hey Pumpkin is Bart Scott. And that's the only time I'm going to say his name because he doesn't deserve our attention. That's one of the biggest things I want you guys, all of Cowboys Nation, to do. Stop giving that man an ounce of attention. He's not worth it. I do ask him, your comments, it is never okay to celebrate or wish or, suggest an injury on a player, especially you as a former athlete.
Mm-hmm.
It's not okay. It's never okay. My question to you is, what was your end game with that? The fact that you're doing this for likes, for viewing, for that contract you signed, I am questioning why you were one of the saved ESPN at this point. But it's not cool. And Cowboys Nation, we could go through the list of those that we need to quit giving this attention to. We just need to stop. We are so blessed, and we should all be grateful for the level of good coverage we have with this team. And it starts with those guys at the Star, with No C, Eatman, Kyle Yeomans. We can go down that list of greats that we have giving us great information at the Star. And then we've got the guys at 105 with Broadus and that whole crew. Absolutely amazing. And then we can get into, we probably have the best group of content creators in Cowboys Nation, giving us thought out, knowledgeable, smart content. Done giving, and I'm not going to say, there are some of these the mass media people that we absolutely love. We love Mina Kimes, Adams. RG3 is absolutely one of my favorite people to come out lately. He is fun. He is rushing. He's honest. He's real. So, we have, Clark right now standing up to that pumpkin.
Even Stephen A stood up to him. So, yeah.
Right. And I was about to say, even the one that makes us all cringe told him it was not okay. So Hey, Pumpkin, do better, because
Yep.
none of us hear that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's despicable trying to make a joke on that. Have a little smug smirk like you thought it was funny. Like, in the words of the great Joey Swoll. Yeah. In the words of the great Joey Swoll, be better.
Right.
Be better.
Right. Yeah. That's that man's livelihood. It's how he takes care of his family. You know, it's his dream, it's his passion. And it's nothing to make fun of someone's pain like that. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, Pumpkin.
Let's go ahead and start getting into this Arizona game and seeing the matchups offensively, defensively, and how the Cowboys really match up. And I'm just going to give you a precursor and a warning. It's pretty favorable for the Cowboys. Like, just a little bit. So let's start on the Cowboys defensive side of the ball versus the Cardinals offensive side of the ball. So we've talked about the Cowboys defense. We have bragged about the Cowboys defense, right? And so let's talk a little bit about this Cardinals offense. And I've went back and I've watched their two games, the first game against the Commanders and then against the Giants. And they've shown some things here and there. They've been able to run the ball really well with James Conner. James Conner is a big bruising back. He's not a guy who's going to blow you away with speed, but he's gonna power you. Their run blocking really has not been bad. They've created some good holes and against some good defensive lines in the Giants and the Commanders. So that's something to look out for.
Paris Johnson and Will Hernandez on side. So yeah, I mean,
their run blocking has been pretty good. Their pass blocking not so great. Dobbs has made some throws here and there, but he hasn't been spectacular. He's run the ball okay. One thing I've noticed from them is they play a lot of 12 and even 13 personnel with 2 tight ends or 3 tight end sets. They against the Giants this last week, they came out in 13 personnel a lot, and it kind of surprised me. So what are your thoughts on our defense matching up against an offense like that?
So this is going to be a really good game for J. Lou to get back into them because of the wide receiver core that this team does have. I'm trying to be nice. I really am trying to be nice, but besides James Conner, and Zach Ertz, we've got to give him the credit. He's not what he used to be. Yeah. No, I was going to say he's not what he used to be, but he's got some capabilities here and there. We're not going to say they're all gone. But
I'm a little bit more worried about Trey McBride, the other tight end, though.
Right.
But they don't use him as much. So that's a little bit of a saving grace, is they don't use him as much as they like. Ertz kind of has that seniority, veteran preference in that offense right now.
But I guess I've just got to say, I mean, besides the ability of Conner to run the ball, we know we've seen what happens with Dobbs trying to throw behind this line and what these wide receivers are and what our secondary is. And
so
we'll get to the score prediction because
So let me ask you, one thing they do have on the offense with their wide receivers is they might not be the best wide receivers and the most dangerous wide receiver, but they have speed with Hollywood Brown and Rondale Moore. They'll line up Rondale Moore sometimes in the backfield going out. With Gilly getting older in age, and the one criticism you can say for Gilly nowadays is like he doesn't have that top end speed anymore. Like he's lost a few steps, but he still has that veteran savvy that kind of allows him to play at a high level still. But is that any kind of worry for you? Is with the speed and going against Gilly?
It would be if our defensive line didn't put the kind of quarterback pressure on that they do. But I don't know if Dobbs is going to have that time to be able to get the ball off for something like that to happen. So I guess that's where I'm going to level it out.
It's hard to go deep when you don't have more than like 2 or 3 seconds to throw the ball.
Right. Right.
You know. And we can look at these charts here. I'm going to put up some charts just to show you how the efficiency of these offenses. So here's running and passing efficiency. Cowboys far up there. Cardinals kind of in that middle zone on where they're at. You know, offensively and defensively, not just running and passing. You can see the Cowboys defense is pretty high up there with their defense efficiency, good with their offense. Arizona's kind of middle of the pack again. They're playing in the middle of the pack right now. So you can kind of see that difference there. But I agree with you that they're I don't even know how much they're going to be able to run that well against us. I think that, we've talked about this. This is I don't want to say similar offense to the Jets, but in a way they are. They need to rely on the running game more so than the passing game. But while I think they're worse at running than the Jets, they are a little bit better at passing than the Jets.
Right.
So
we have one more graph that's just going to kind of show you, why I'm feeling so overconfident about everything. And look at these defensive grades.
Yeah, the defensive grades are.
And can we talk about?
If you're big on PFF, yes, those are.
Well, yeah, I know it came from PFF, but it still was rather impressive. And I honestly have to. Can we talk about the star that Osa is emerging into being?
Oh man, Osa Odighizuwa.
He's done the work.
The man has
done the work.
He is a monster. And we saw glimpses of it his rookie year. We saw glimpses of it last year. And it looks like he's taken that third year step where he's really starting to dominate. And in the first week, they highlighted so much that play of Odighizuwa taking on the double team and allowing Micah Parsons to roll. Micah Parsons, I'm sorry. In the first week, Micah Parsons taking on the double team that allowed Odighizuwa to come around and get the sack on Daniel Jones. Well, this week, it wasn't the same exact formation. It wasn't the same exact play. They were switched, and Parsons was on the outside. Odighizuwa was on the inside. Odighizuwa not only took on the double team, he mauled the double team out of the way, allowed Parsons to come around and get the sack of Zach Wilson. So it was like they switched positions, like, oh, it's your turn to get the sack. I'll clear it out for you now. And that teamwork and their ability to work together like that is a dangerous, dangerous combination for any offense. So we all know Mike.
The week after that too.
Yeah.
Because he tweeted out, found something under my seat.
Yep. Yes, that's right. That's right. And, hey, he is tied for the team lead in sacks with Micah Parsons. He has 3. While Micah Parsons is dominant and deservedly so, getting all of the praise because he's the best defensive player in the league. Osa's playing pretty damn well right now. He really is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a great thing. Like, just looking at how dominant Osa has played, I really don't see their offensive line being able to stay up with this Cowboys defense.
I don't.
And I don't see many offensive lines being able to stay up. But this Cardinals one is going to struggle, and we're going to see how good Paris Johnson is. Paris Johnson, in my opinion, I've watched the games, has been playing very well for the Cardinals. This is going to be a test for him, and with Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, who's been playing very well as well.
And he looks like he's. I'm not going to say he was in a slump before, but he looks like he is bigger, stronger, leaner. Tank is looking.
He looks rejuvenated. So, The only thing that I think that we really do have to worry about, as we talked about it before, we've hit on it, is those running quarterbacks and Dobbs taking off. We need to stay focused, stay on our lanes. Sometimes those rushers, we get so excited and they just blow by. They leave a hole, and those quarterbacks can take off. That's the one difference that I've seen in watching us and watching the 49ers defense. And the 49ers defense, that's the defense that we're being compared to. That's the other defense, the top defense that we're being compared to. The quarterbacks don't run on them as easily. I think we're better in the secondary, and our pass rush is better, but quarterbacks don't take off on them. They fill those gaps really well. But so that's something that I think Dan Quinn, this defense will work on, but it's something that we can get hit on right now. And I think as the game usually goes on, usually it's in the early parts of the game that quarterbacks do that to us. And then Dan Quinn and the defense usually adjust. We just need to see what happens in that first part. And I think that Dobbs can make some plays with his legs, and remember, this is the same Josh Dobbs for the Titans last year that gave us some trouble.
Right.
That game was not pretty last year, but our offense is better than it was, but still.
Right.
So fair to say advantage Cowboys defense? Just a little bit. Okay.
I mean, Grand Canyon a little bit, but yeah.
Okay, so offense, our Cowboys offense, Arizona Cardinals defense. Let's break them in. Let's get into that a little bit. What do you see there with the Cardinals defense?
Well, we can talk about everybody that's hurt and that's out. Cowboy legend Carlos Watkins out. Buda Baker, my husky. Already free Buda Baker from this pain of being on this team, but he went to IR. Their secondary is a bunch of guys.
It really is, yeah.
There is not one player that I am super duper worried about. They do have Zaven Collins, who can be somewhat disruptive.
And they've moved him to as more of a pass rusher now, which I think is benefiting him. I do.
Right. But other than that, Leaky Fatu is questionable. Josh Woods is out. This is an injured defense if you're looking through it all right here. And they got rid of Isaiah Simmons. Not Isaiah. Isaiah Simmons is gone. Yeah, Isaiah Simmons is gone. So I watch, rinse, repeat, kind of not afraid of them either.
This is the easiest defense the Cowboys have faced so far this year.
Yeah, easily.
The Giants have a decent defense, and the Jets have a great dominant defense. The Cowboys should not struggle. I'm just going to say it. The Cowboys should not struggle to move the ball and to score points. And if the Cowboys struggle to move the ball and score points, or struggle in the red zone, red flag should go up.
Right.
Plain and simple. Because his defense is not great. They have Zaven Collins, like I said, but he's more of a pass rusher now. He will drop into coverage every once in a while, but he's not the best guy in coverage. He's just, he could be a wrecking ball with pass rushing, but I think Steele, Tyron, we can work that out, and they can do. They've been playing well this day. Right. We get Tyler Smith back, so that should improve the running game.
And Tyrone's still playing like 2016 right now.
Yeah, he is. Tony Pollard's still knocking off the rust and getting back into what he was. So I think that's going to improve as well as he gets more comfortable with running on his ankle. So he didn't really play a lot in training camp, or he didn't play at all in preseason. So it's been a couple games. He's gotten some yards. His yards per carry has not been great. I think that will go up as he's getting more comfortable and with Tyler Smith coming back. I think this is a good game for him. I'm really expecting Tony Pollard to have a good game. I just don't think, and I'm looking, and Budda Baker might have been somebody that I was like, okay, we got to watch Budda Baker.
Mm-hmm.
There's not really anything like Marco Wilson, maybe. Like, I just, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to Arizona Cardinals fans or the Arizona team. It's just like there is a wide gap here in talent and skill. CD Lamb should be able to eat. Brandon Cook should be able to eat. Gallup should be able to eat, people.
Right.
If Gallup's still not getting separation, we can raise some red flags there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I honestly, I've been watching. I watched, like I said, I watched both their games, and the offense, I mean, their defense really did not scare me. The Giants, yes, they shut out the Giants in the first half. The Giants were struggling in the first half. But that second half, Daniel Jones diced them up.
Right.
Killed
Do you
them.
see Deuce Vaughn being something fun in this game?
I mean, it's possible. Like, I'll just say I wasn't a huge fan of the Deuce Vaughn usage in the last game. Yes, he had that screen pass where he made good plays. Yes, he had that run where he had a good play.
But before that, he was getting nothing.
He was getting nothing. And so I think we got to be. It was weird because in week 1 we used Turpin in a lot of those roles, and I think Turpin was actually effective. And then this against the Jets, they used Vaughn in those roles, and while he had those 2 plays, he wasn't as effective, in my opinion, as Turpin.
And it was really early in the game. I mean, when the first time we saw him, I was like, "Wow,
he got like this 3rd series of the game. It was kind of weird. So I know they're mixing and matching. I think they're trying to see what they have with everybody. So I'm fine with Deuce Vaughn getting some packages. Just sparingly, just be careful with it. The game's closed. I don't want Deuce Vaughn in there. I want Tony Pollard or Rico Dowdle in there. So just we'll have to see. But if we're up and we're cruising, like, throw Deuce Vaughn in there like we did against the Giants. Like, give him a couple series in the 4th. Absolutely, I have no issues with that, and I think he could do some damage against this Arizona defense. To be honest with you, but I just don't see much from this defense that I'm like, oh, they can cause this. They could do this that can cause trouble.
Right. Yeah, I'm not going to be mean and call it a bye week, but
definitely don't want to call it a bye week. It is the NFL. Anything can happen.
Exactly.
And any given Sunday, as they say. But there is a clear mismatch here. Do you know the point spread on this?
I have not looked it up. No, I've been a little busy. Right now, I've been a little busy this week. It's race week turns my life a little different, and I was lucky to. I mean,
12 and a half.
I was at. Oh, that's it. I mean,
I mean that's a big spread, but
it is a big spread. But just knowing their offense and not having their QB and defense, I was actually thinking it might be a little bit bigger, but
I wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was bigger, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into some predictions and what we're gonna do with what we think are going to be the stars of this game.
We have to talk about last week's predictions though, because we were both pretty much one side of it and the other side with our prediction, really close. You had the 10 exactly right. I was at 9.
Yes, we our game predictions, our score predictions were pretty close, actually.
Right. Yeah.
So that would have been nice, and that's my fault. I messed up last week. I forgot to I got busy and I did not put out the tweet for game predictions, so I apologize. I will make sure to do that this week. And shame on me. Call me out. I apologize. I will put out the tweet this week for the game predictions so that we can get a prize out. I apologize for that. Usually better at that, but that's my bad. I like to try to do it closer to the game, and with me waiting, I have a husband brain, so I forget easily. So I do
And I was at the
apologize.
game, so there was no way didn't remind you, and life has happened since then. But
Yes.
yeah,
Okay, but
because
yeah,
we will also tweet about that contest for this Gallup jersey.
yes, we got to get some more people
Right.
subscribing to the channel. So pass the word out so
Yeah.
that you have a chance to win that jersey. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you get notifications. But let's get into this. Who is your offensive star of this game? And don't take mine.
Okay, cool. It is Mr. Sidarian Lamb.
CD Lamb. You think he's gonna have another big game, huh?
Who's gonna
Who's
cover
guarding
him?
him?
Who's covering him? I mean, and this is gonna be big yardage.
Yeah.
Big. Yeah.
Someone
It's CD.
someone asked me if I thought CD Lamb could be in Justin Jefferson stratosphere by the end of the year, and I told him I think he can this year.
Oh, absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
really
Did
do.
you see the catch he was making, the hits he took while he was they
This guy's tough.
helicopter upended him at that one on that one. But
He takes
no.
some big hits and just pops right back up.
Right.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a good one. I'm gonna go with Tony Pollard. I think this is his breakout game for the year. Like I said, Tyler Smith's coming back. I think the offensive line is going to continue to work well. And I think that, as like I said, as he's getting more comfortable, he's going to get better. I think this is the game where he surely shows you like, hey, I'm the number one back. We don't have anything to worry about with the run game. And we're going to be moving. So I expect 100 yards and a TD from Pollard this week. So I think Pollard will be my guy.
Nice. I like it.
Okay, so defensive star of the game.
I wanted to go one way with it, but you know what? Bland is going to step up, and he's going to be that guy. He's going to be that guy this week.
Okay.
They are putting him into a very big role, into star shoes to fill. And I think that, we've seen it out of him all last year. We've seen his capability, and I think he goes that next level.
I like it. I like it. I like that pick. I am going to, don't be mad at me. I'm going to go with the obvious. I'm going to go with Micah Parsons. And the reason why I'm going with Micah Parsons, because I think Micah Parsons is going to have a point to prove this week that this defense is not dead with Diggs going down. He's going to do it for Diggs.
With Hey Pumpkin, he was going round and round on Hey Pumpkin and you know what? Shout out to you, Micah, for standing up for your brother, for going, the lion hunted after that guy, and good for you.
And look, I think Parsons is going to do it because him and Diggs are very close. If you did not know, him and Diggs are very close. So I think he's going to come out and he's going to want to set the tone. And there's not a man in the NFL that could block this dude, but there definitely isn't a man on this Arizona offensive line that can contain Micah Parsons. And I think the Lion is hungry. I think the Lion wants to prove something this week, and I think it's going to get ugly for Mr. Dobbs. I really do. So I'm taking Micah Parsons this week to dominate. I'm going to say Parsons gets 3 sacks.
Nice.
So I'm going 3 sacks for Parsons. I think he dominates. You're going Bland. Do you think what is going to stand out for Bland for you?
I think he's absolutely going to shut down whoever he's covering on that side that they're not. And you know what? I'm going to make a pretty bold prediction, and I'm going to give Mr. Bland 2 interceptions.
2 picks for Bland. There you go. One for him and one for Diggs.
I mean, because I did call 2 of the 3 last week on
did.
interceptions. So I am going, he's going to get 1 for Diggs and 1 for himself. So that's what's going on. Yeah.
I love
I'm
it.
going to do that. Yeah.
Okay. Bold predictions. You kind of win a bold prediction with that. Is that your bold prediction, or do you want a different bold prediction?
I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to say CD goes for. Oh, do I got to keep it in the? I'll keep it in the realm of reality. Maybe I will. 157 yards.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on 157.
157. If you nail that on the spot, that would be impressive.
Right?
That would be great.
I will be picking out lottery numbers for us next week.
That was a random number that I think would be great if he hit exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to my one that I got off of last week, and I'm going to stick with it this week. I'm going to say a punt block. I'm going to see special teams comes through again, punt block. Give me, who should I? I'm not sure who's going to block it. Maybe Wanye again, but somebody's going to block a punt, and we're going to have another big special teams play.
He almost had another one this last week.
He did. And that's what I said. I was like, oh man. I was like, I thought he got it. And I was like, man, I should have stuck with it. But yeah, this week, punt block. I'll say Wanye, but if it's not him, somebody will get a punt block this week. So let's go with that. And then what is your final score prediction?
All right, kids. They're on the grill. They're cooking. It is going to be 41-3.
40. I'm sorry, you say 41-3?
Yes.
Whoo! That a 40 burger. Whew,
we have allowed 1 touchdown this year, 1 field goal by much stronger opponents. It's 41-3. Yeah.
I like it.
5 touchdowns, 2 field goals.
I like it. No, I like it. I love it.
I'm calling it.
I'm going to go. I had this score before you said anything.
Okay.
I'm going 33-0.
Nice.
33-0. I think we pitch another shutout. I've been thinking about it all week. Like, we're going to pitch another shutout against this team. I was watching their offense, and I was like, we're going to pitch another shutout this week. As long as this defense stays focused, and they don't give up any like stupid little halftime, let's play prevent defense, or into the game, let's play prevent defense. We don't care if they get yards, they're not beating us deep. As long as they don't do any of that.
I think Dan Quinn would agree to that at this point in time. You think he would actually put that into effect? I don't think. After seeing that man jump and scream and be so freaking happy during that game, I don't know if it's in him right now to play prevent.
I hope they played prevent at the end of the second half, the end of the first half last week. So like that's I don't like prevent defense. I don't like. I get it. Like, you're not trying to give up a big score right before the half or right at the end of the game. I get that. It's whatever. You're just trying to keep everything in front of you. I just don't like it because it allows teams to methodically move the ball down the field freely. Just play your defense.
I just want to hurt their feelings the whole time. I don't want them to feel good about themselves. Just
absolutely not. I want this defense to send a message to the rest of the league that says, because I don't care. I hate it, but I'm not saying everybody. So please don't take this as like I'm pointing the finger at every single person out there, because I know that I know it doesn't even apply to the majority of people, but I saw it. There were a lot of people celebrating this Diggs injury because they the Cowboys defense has just got worse. So the Cowboys defense, the Cowboys are worse now, and they're celebrating. I want this defense and Dan Quinn to come out and make a statement and say, Yes, Diggs is great. Yes, we're going to miss Diggs, but we're still the best defense in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still not going to let you kind of come in here and bully us on the field. We control it.
Right.
This is doomsday. That's what I want. So if you put up a 0 burger on people, you hold them to a 0 burger, that puts that statement out. Because this is a team that just scored 20 points against the Giants,
Right.
and they scored 20 points I think against the Commanders.
Commanders.
Look, come out, you put a 0 burger, you give them a 0 burger, that's gonna make that statement. So that's what I want, and I think this defense can get it done. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. I like it. I like that a lot. I just, like I said, I just want to hurt all their feelings.
All right. Any closing thoughts before we get off here and get ready for the weekend?
Yeah, actually, there was something that popped up in a certain player's Instagram, and I've been trying to get the answer on it, and I have not gotten the answer. And some of you might have seen it. Overshown had his story on Instagram, and he was like, "Oh, the surgery went well." And he panned the camera down. It's not one leg that's bandaged up and in braces. It's both of them.
Yeah.
And I heard zero about the other knee needing anything. I did talk to Brian Broaddus this morning and was like, hey, he had both legs done. He was like, I didn't hear anything about it. And, I made sure he saw the video. He's like, that's strange. They usually don't do both knees at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to get the answer. And he knows the answer would be great.
Yeah, I saw Jesse Holly tweet about it too, saying like he was shocked, like, "Hey, what you did both knees? Like, what's going on?" And Brian's completely right. Usually they don't do both knees at the same time. I'm wondering if he just had some cartilage stuff in the other knee, and they just decided, "Hey, let's do the little scope and the little cleanup." And he was like, "Hey, just get them both done at the same time, and then I can recover."
He's got the time to
recover both. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. He's like, "Hey, I can recover from both." It's just a little weird because the recovery times are going to be vastly different from him. So you got one knee that's probably going to recover, but you're not going to be able to do a lot with it because you can't do anything with the ACL injury. So it's a little bit interesting. I don't know. I'm not his doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not his doctor. I don't know what the conversations are had. Obviously, someone advised him to do that, or he just said, "Hey, just do it on his own." I don't know. Right. So we'll have to get more information on that. Yeah.
He'll have plenty. And silver lining with Diggs's injury is it's early enough in the year that we'll definitely see him before, he'll be back for next season.
He'll be back for camp. Like he should be back for camp. Right. So he's got small silver lining. Absolutely is there that, next year, and we'll see what happens with Gilly next year and everything like that. I don't know, but you have that option. Absolutely.
Right. So, yeah, no, that was my one. Hey, wait a minute. Why do you have both legs?
Yeah. No, I get it. And so that's the show for today. We'll be back next week. We'll let you know. We'll tweet out when we're going to be doing that.
Yeah, my life goes back to a little bit more normal. I'll survive through race week. I told Mass I probably will be hibernating on Monday, catching up on some sleep, but we'll get back on schedule next week.
There you go. And then so please like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. Like I said, subscribe and tell everybody because we need to get those subscribers up so we can have that competition, that contest for the Michael Gallup jersey giveaway. We need to hit that number, 1,000 subscribers for the season. We get that, we'll go ahead and we'll put out, we'll have that contest, a random lucky subscriber will get that jersey sent to them for Michael Gallup. We'll be having plenty more competitions along the way. I will tweet out the score competition for this week. So make sure you follow me and Cam for those details. And we appreciate you tuning in.
Happy Friday and go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.